So I'm just setting my camera today because this is going to be a little big vlog. Hi everyone, my name is Pragya Sharda, and to the people who have not seen me yet, you wouldn't see me because I do not post regularly. It's only an occasional event where I usually post. I usually post whenever I'm on a trip, and I like to record everything because I am that kind of person who likes to capture every moment because I know that moment is not going to happen again, and I like to capture everything that I have. Anyway, I'm a 24-year-old, and today is Sunday, and I was just uh, enjoying my leisure time, and I just thought of an idea, and not just an idea, but I was just wondering about Pragya. You're 24 now, and so many things have happened to you over the course of life, and whatever you're transforming into is such a changed person. I'm not saying it's a good person or a bad person. I'm just saying that every year that is passing, you are just changing, and there are a lot of things that I've learned at the age of 24 when it comes to life, my career, my friendships, even myself, my relationships, many things. And I'm just going to share those 24 things with you. Alright, so the first one would be that it's related to career, because that has been one of those things which has impacted me a lot, because there were things that I wanted to do in my life but I couldn't do it. It's like your career is rarely going to go as you plan it. uh, it's not that if you were, when I was a 6-year-old, if I thought I wanted to become an IPS officer or an IAS or a pilot, for example, and if I don't become that, I don't think we should beat ourselves to that. Maybe that plan did not happen because you were meant to be in a different, better plan than what you had already thought. Second, um, would be that money managing is not a financial topic. I learned it very early in my life. I've always been a person that was always interested in stocks or to learn. So my dad used to invest in, he still does, in stock market and mutual funds and things like that. And I always used to be very curious about what all is going on the screen. And I would ask him, like, what is this red candle doing? What is this green thing? How is the gold silver price getting affected by the stock market, or all of these things? So I've always been an enthusiast about that thing, and I started investing very early in my life. I used to borrow money from my dad. To when I was not earning, I used to borrow money from him that please let me also invest in the share market, and he was really kind enough. So, and this is something I also keep telling to my office colleagues, that the junior ones who joined, that even if you do not have an SIP, for example, you should start, because it's really important in your life. And later in life, when you would earn money, you do know, you do need to know that how do you need to manage it, right? So I think you should, and I also think that schools should promote making you learn all of these things. And I do know that in commerce they do teach a little bit of that, but money managing specifically is not taught in schools, and I think it should be taught. Next thing that I learned was you should start embracing how you are. I am a 24-year-old. I am saying that now, but I remember when I was in school, I used to have, so this is my curly hair, which is curly baby hair, whatever you call it. Please do not fight me. This is not curly, this is wavy and all that. Please don't do that. I don't know what type this hair is, but this is something that I have started embracing now. After being 24, I never embraced them. I used to straighten them, I used to blow dry them, I used to apply multiple products on them just to, make them set. And I've never accepted my hair like that, and I used to complain to my mom about it, like, Mom, what kind of hair have you given me? Because they do not set up. And the thing was, I just did not know that how to care for them, right? How to treat them like they need to be treated. I was just making them fit in something they were not. Get it? So I've started embracing myself like I am. In school it was a little difficult. I used to have my insecurities. I still do have insecurities to my body, something. I think every girl does have that. Even every boy has that. but we should be a little easy on ourselves. At least life is already beating us. The only thing, one good thing that we can do is not beat ourselves to it. The thing I've learned is that you should invest in yourself early in life, because I mean, whether it's learning new skills or improving yourselves. For example, there are things that I know that are flaws in me, right? And if I keep on saying that मैं ऐसे ही हूँ and I do not change it, it's not going to help me, let alone what people are going to think. It's not going to help me. When I think about investing in yourself, I also consider going to yoga classes, doing meditation, going to the gym, doing cycling, the marathon, playing any sports, learning something, things like reading a book. So all of these things are habits. This is also one of the points that I would like to cover later, but this is something which is really important if you want to improve yourself. Next thing would be, which was again related to the last point that I have, that you should be investing in yourself, is that small habits and consistency really matters. Because like they say, boond boond sagar banta hai. Exactly like that, the small habits that you inculcate are going to add up one day and help you achieve your big plan. So it's really important to for example, I'm really looking forward to inculcate two habits. One is to read book at night. That is something I'm not able to get a hang of it, because I'm either working or doing something. Because there are times when I'm coming back to my office, I'm so exhausted, I just want to rest, and I just like to scroll, so that I just give myself time. And I need to make myself understand that giving myself time includes reading the book. Next thing would be related to doing the uncomfortable things. And I do not mean doing uncomfortable things in a wrong way. I would rather say that do things which are uncomfortable to you right now, but if you do it, it would add up. It would be a great story, is something I would say. For example, I have always been a person who has stepped into the uncomfortable things possible to me. For example, whenever I was scared to be on the stage, I made sure that I was on the stage next day. If for example, if one day I was scared to do an MUN debate, I made sure that I am sitting and doing an MUN debate. When I was scared to do a particular race, I made sure that I did that race. I was scared to do a dance performance on the stage. I knew I couldn't dance. I'm not a very great dancer. I'm a good normal dancer. I'm fun like that. But I did that. I was okay with me being embarrassed about it. It's okay. See, I feel like if there are things which do not turn out good, at least you have another story to tell, and another thing that you're going to laugh about. So whenever there is something that is uncomfortable to you, that for example starting a project or starting your own business for once, you better step into it, because if you don't do it, you wouldn't know the outcome of it. So just do the things that you think are right now uncomfortable. I have done a lot of uncomfortable things in my life, and I feel like that is something which has built in the confidence in me. For example, this thing that I'm doing right now, no point of doing that, the vlogs and everything. There is literally no point of me doing that. But I'm also really insecure about how I'm looking right now. So I'm recording right now, and I know it's going to make me a little uncomfortable, and I'm editing that, Pragya, you're looking like that, your hair is like this, blah 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 blah. But I'm doing it, even if it does embarrass me later, even if my friends do make a joke out of it, even if people might come in, whatever, but I'm just doing it because I want to do it. And even if I embarrass myself, at least I would know that I tried. So next one is going to be a little debatable, but this is something that I've learned a little hard way, that you should learn to say no to particular things. If there are things that you know are going to disrupt your peace, it's going to exhaust your energy, it's going to take your time, energy and efforts, there are places where you just do not want to be but you are there for the sake of it, I think you should say no and protect your peace, because not all the time you can keep people ahead. There are times when you need to keep yourself ahead. For example, there might be places your friends might want to tell you that we should be doing this, and that is something that is making you uncomfortable. This is something that I've learned in college. So when I came to University of Delhi, went the college specifically in which I studied had a bunch of people from Delhi, Faridabad, multiple places, most probably localites. So the first day they took me to Satyaniketan, where there were cafes, and those were not very good cafes, and there were stairs that we had to go to a cafe, and it was dark, and I mean I just stepped out of my house. Where I used to live, there was no sort of these kind of things. I was not from Delhi, and it made me really uncomfortable, and I did go there for the first time, but I did realize that the group that I am getting acquainted with is not the group that I would want. This is not the group I'm quite comfortable with, and I learned it a little hard way that you need to start saying no to certain people and certain things, because if you do not feel that you belong there, it's better that you just don't do that. So please say no where you think it's not your place, because you might get into serious trouble if you do not say no on the right time. Just saying. I've also learned that confidence is not something that you're going to build overnight. I'm able to speak now here. I would never say that I was a shy person and I couldn't even come on the stage and I couldn't do things, because all thanks to my mom. My mom has always taken me to different, so my mom has basically taken me to every culture's event, right? So she made me do a Bengali play, she made me do an Assamese bihu, I'm Punjabi, so I've done bhangra. Alright, she has made me something on a Christmas event. She made me do ramp walks, dances on old school, and she has made me do singing stuff. I'm bad at singing, terrible at singing, but she has actually nurtured me so well that I've never had a stage fright. Of course, whenever you go on a stage, there is a thug that gets in you, but I've never been a person who would say no to stage. I knew that thug is going to happen, that rush is going to come to you, but I've never been a person who would just say no to it. And I'm telling you, all thanks to my mom, who has nurtured me so well that I'm not really scared of it. And so what I think about this is that confidence is not built overnight. She has multiple times put me on that stage, right? Multiple stages in my life, that now if I'm talking here, or even if I'm in my office and I'm talking anywhere, I'm not scared. I do get the flutter yet. I guess I do get anxious. I do get sweaty when I'm doing something which is new, which is something unusual, but that's all right. Every human does that. That's perfectly all right. But it does not build overnight. If you think you are going on a stage once and then next time you're thinking that you don't have the confidence, sweetheart, it takes time. Everything takes time. This will do. Okay, so the next thing is something that I've learned last year, somewhere in the past 2 years, is that protecting your own peace is more important than proving your point. I said what I said. I was a very vocal person before. Whatever I used to feel, I just used to let it all out, because I felt like that's how I am calm. But I have learned it now that if you are holding in something inside of you that is not making you weak, that that's rather making you stronger. And I'll tell you this, when so something happened in my life and I started holding things to myself. I started being alone, and I would not discuss things, and I used to feel very bad about it, that I don't know, I can't even discuss things, and I'm just soaking it all in. But later I realized that it's so nice, because there are things that I have been feeling momentarily, and it's so extreme, the emotions are so extreme. But if I just let it be for some time and then think about it or act upon it, I comparatively had a calmer response to it. And there were things which, when I thought after a few hours, it didn't even matter. The things which were so big to me few hours ago did not even matter. इस सिचुएशन में चुप रह के निकल सकते हैं तो निकल जाओ. सब कुछ नहीं कहना होता, कुछ चीज़ें सुन के भी जाने देनी चाहिए. देर आर पीपल अराउंड यू जो कुछ कुछ चीज़ें बोलते होंगे एंड यू माइट नॉट लाइक, एंड आपको सब कुछ भी नहीं बोलना. इट्स ओके. People have their own thinking, you have your own thinking. If they ask you and they get into this, that बोलना मुझे, you talk it out. But and if you think that it's getting a little like an argument, or it's leading to something which should not lead to us, just it's all right. And I kind of follow this approach when it comes to political topics. So I'm not a very that kind of person who would debate with you on political things. So there are people who tell me about the political opinions, and I'm like, okay, good, nice, ठीक है, वेल एंड गुड, ठीक है, क्योंकि मुझे कोई पॉइंट प्रूव नहीं करना. आपकी सोच आपको मुबारक, मेरी सोच मुझे मुबारक. अगर मुझे लगता है कि कोई डिस्प्यूट हो सकता है इंटरेस्ट का, तो मैं थोड़ा सा उस कॉन्वर्जेशन से थोड़ा हटने लगी हूँ. एंड आई रियली लव दिस इन मी, दैट इट बिकॉज इट इज़ गिविंग मी पीस. सो I'm really happy about that. The 10th thing that I've learned is that your environment and the people you sit and stand with influence your mindset, and I couldn't stress this enough, because I truly believe in it. That, have you seen that meme or that Instagram reel that was मतलब आपने बहुत ज़्यादा देखी होगी कि एक कढ़ाई में बेबलेट होता है, वो बेबलेट पड़ा होता है, बट जब 3-4 बेबलेट घूमते हुए चल रहे होते हैं, तो वो जो रुका हुआ बेबलेट होता है वो भी घूमने लग जाता है. सो दैट इज़ अ प्राइम एग्जाम्पल ऑफ दिस. एंड इफ़ यू आर यंगर टू मी, आई वुड सीरियसली टेल यू दैट please, if you think your circle is not helping you grow, if you think your circle is just stagnant, you really need to change your circle. Because, and maybe not change your circle, I would say create another circle of friends which do discuss, or which have a similar mindset to what you have, right? I'm not saying that you should leave your friends. Even I have a few friends back, I'm not going to name from where, but I have a few friends, we do not have similar mindsets, but whenever I want to have fun or I want to do, I do sit with them. But at the same time, the people that you're going to sit with is going to influence your life a lot. If you are all the time with drinking people, you're eventually going to drink. If you're going to be around the people who play poker, eventually you will start playing poker. It's like that. If you stay around with doctors, maybe you might become a doctor, or your interests might align that way. So basically, your environment, the people that you are growing up with, or the people you sit and stand with, definitely does impact a lot. This thing I've also learned, that your friendships, a few friendships are just for a few phases of your life, and that's okay, friends. I'm telling you, it's okay. So I'll tell you a little about myself. My dad has a transferable job, so we have been moving to different places, different cities of the country in India itself. So wherever I went, I had different schools, I had different set of friends, I had different communities, I had different school clubs, all of those things. I've had so many group of people. There are so many people I am not even in touch with. Then college people were different. I learned German, so my German language friends were different. I went to gym, so my gym's friends were different. My office friends are different. The place where I live, those people are different. So, and it's not really important that you are in touch now. It's a good thing that now we are in touch with all our friends through Instagram reels or randomly calling them, but there are certain people that who are there only for your phases of life, and that's okay. You should not be you should just embrace that you had a great time with them. Because for example, I'll remember, now we're talking about it, I lived in Lajpat Nagar for a good time and I had great friends there, many junior to me. I had a great time with them. I still miss them. They are doing well in their life. I keep on seeing them on Snapchat or Instagram, but at the same time I do realize that they were just for a phase of my life, and that's okay. I It's okay because everyone has their own life and people move on. That's okay. So you should just enjoy the time that you have with them. Same time, I've learned that you do not need to have a huge circle of friends. Again, the people who are younger to me, or if you are social birds and you must think that we would need a huge group of friends, only then we can be happy. No, actually, you just need a few friends who are always there. You do not need a huge group of friends, because to be very honest, what I've learned with huge groups is that more the people, more the trouble. Because people talk and you cannot do anything about it. People are going to talk anyway, right? Even if you're doing good in life, even if you're doing bad in life, even if you're making mistakes, even if you are excelling in life, people are going to talk about you, and you have to accept it. Even if people do talk shit about you, it's okay if you don't go and confront them and just chill. Because I will just share one of my examples is that before, I used to be a person who would be so shaken about that thing. I would go and confront, and I would just ask, like, why would you say such things, and I would do all of these conversations, and it would only harm me, to be very honest. It was not doing me anything good, because they said what they said, and whatever justification they say now does not really make sense. So what I have learned is that whenever things like this happen, when you get to know that there are people who are talking bad about you, if you want to take it out of your chest, you want to talk it out, that's okay, do that. But don't beat yourself to it, that why am I like this, I do that is why I'm telling you this, I'm just telling it to myself, to be very honest, that don't do that. It's all right. People can have different opinions, and people are going to have different opinions, and you cannot do anything about it. And for the things that you cannot do anything about it, you should not worry about them. Got it? So it's okay. Chill. Song that there is, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, ठीक है? तो लोगों का काम कहना है. लोग अगर कहेंगे नहीं तो उनकी ज़िंदगी नहीं चलेगी. आप भी कुछ लोगों के बारे में बातें करते हैं, हम भी करते हैं, लोग करते रहेंगे. ऐसे ही लोगों की बातचीत होती है, तो उसमें आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. और जिन चीज़ों को कुछ आप कर ही सकते हो, उनको क्या करते हैं, हम छोड़ देते हैं, ठीक है? एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग वुड बी दैट आई हैव लर्नड at 24. I was not at all accepting this when I was 16, 15, 17, when I was in school, is that when parents advise you, I wouldn't say 100% they are correct, but most of the times they are correct, because they have gone through the same life that you are experiencing right now. So I wouldn't say, because see, there are people who have had a troublesome childhood, so I wouldn't say that your parents are always right. It's a very subjective topic, to be very honest, but I'll just take an example of my parents. I feel like partially they were right, and yeah. And I wouldn't say that I should have listened to them more or things like that, because I feel like if I did, if I was the most obedient kid, right, I wouldn't have learned my lessons. So you only learn lessons when you face a failure or do something stupid. So it is okay to be a little notorious in your life. Okay? Unless you're putting someone's life on stake, everything is okay. करो, लाइफ में कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए ताकि तुम आगे लोगों को बता पाओ, वो करना चाहिए. बट या, you should listen to your parents time to time. They have experience more than us. Trust me, they do. There are people who are still figuring out with their lives. Even if on Instagram you think that they have a very sorted life, you should not judge a book by its cover at all. Maybe a person is posting all happy things, but having the most difficult phase of their lives, right? And to be very honest, everyone is figuring out their lives. Nobody has their life sorted. So you should never, okay, this is such a great thing that I've learned, is that you should not compare yourself to others. And I'm literally telling you, if you're earning 10, your friend is earning 20, other one's earning 30, someone else has a business, their business is being great. If you want to do the business, great. If you want to switch and go to a 20 LPA job, great. But you should not be comparing yourself, because there is a lot of difference, right? What the person, अब आप ये लगा लो, अगर आप ये सोच रहे हो कि 10 LPA में आप जॉब कर रहे हो एंड आप सोचो कि काश मैं बिज़नेस कर लेता वगैरह कर लेता, इसका बिज़नेस कितना सेटअप हो गया. यू डोंट नो जो बंदा भी बिज़नेस कर रहा है, हाउ मच प्रॉब्लम और हाउ मेनी hurdles that person had to face just to be at that level, which at a 10 LPA job maybe you did not have to. You just had to come 9 to 5 job करी, 5 दिन ऑफिस गए, that's it. That's how you are earning the 10 easy LPA on a yearly basis. But maybe in that the person जिसको आप देख रहे हो, जिसने बिजनेस टाइकून खड़ा कर लिया है, क्या पता उसका कितना उसने लोन लिया हो लोगों से, कैसे उसके पास 5 दिन का वो नहीं था कि जाने जाना है. Maybe he had to go 7 days a week. Maybe there were months where he did not earn anything. Maybe at first it did not even work out and he had to borrow money from people and he had to go through multiple. You never know. So just because you do not know other people's story, you should not compare. You should not. Maybe लोगों की upbringing पे होता है, लोगों की risk taking capability पे matter करता है. So you should never be comparing yourself. If you're comparing, it only should be that I want to be on that level. How should I get on that level? And then you should start working in that direction to get on that level. But you should never be like, यार उसके इतने आ गए, मेरे क्यों नहीं आ रहे, मेरे क्यों नहीं आएंगे, ये नहीं होना चाहिए. Rather ये होना चाहिए कि मैं कैसे वो करूँ. That should be more of an approach. And yeah, please don't compare yourselves with others. Even I have stopped doing that. I used to do that when I completed my graduation and I was not getting a job. So I used to be on LinkedIn all day and I would be like, यार इसका भी हो गया, उसका भी होगा, मेरा क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. And to be very honest, but even now that I think about it, that was one of the most difficult times of my life, because my parents used to think that I'm a bright student. I did well in my college, in my school. I was doing good, but I was from a COVID batch, so we did not really had the campus recruitments and all those things. So I had to find a job on my own, and it was really difficult. And during a time where people were actually getting kicked out of the jobs, I was actually searching for one as a fresher, and it was very difficult. And people were, Instagram stories पर डाल रहे थे that congratulations Microsoft, congratulations Google, congratulations KPMG and all of those things. And I was like, dude, what's wrong with me? मुझ में क्या कमी है कि मैं नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. तो आज भी जब मैं वो चीज़ सोचती हूँ, वो थॉट्स आते ही हैं, बट हमें कोशिश करना चाहिए कि हम कंपेयर ना करें. एंड दैट इज़ एग्जैक्टली वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट आई डिड एट दैट टाइम वाज I knew that people were doing good. I knew that I am lagging behind, but I did not stop there. I made sure that I was regularly applying to jobs. I was regularly contacting, networking with people on LinkedIn. I was regularly, learning things. I was doing courses of multiple things, and I would go to job profiles and see कि क्या requirement है, so that I could learn those. I would not go and ping people that please help me find a job, and please if there is a job tell me. I would rather ask them that I'm a fresher and I want to work in an MNC. How should I improve myself by the time I do get a job for my interviews and everything. So I did a lot of mix and match things which helped me in rapid job. So yeah, I was a little upset that people are getting ahead of me, but I did not let it stop me from making myself better. And that is something which you guys should also keep in your mind. the age that you are in right now, I'm not sure if you're in 20s or mm, maybe going to turn 20 or maybe older than, even in your 30s, I would say 20s has been like from the age 20 to 29. I'm not really sure how 30 is how the life can be. I hope it is a little shorter than this, but I don't think it would be, because I feel like every year that I step into, my hurdles have only increased. And uh, I mean, the problems do not become lesser. I just became stronger to handle all of these things, because I feel like the things that I'm handling now, if a 16-year-old me handled, she though would, have a whole samundar of asu on the floor if she had all these troubles. It's good that a lot of things happen to me to shape me how I am. Anyways, so I would say that your age right now is 20s, is an experimenting age, right? You can try a lot of things. So I personally have experimented so much in my life. What I'm doing right now is also one of the experiments. I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I'm doing that. I'm not really sure if it is going to work out, but I'm doing that. I'm experimenting with my life. I wanted to start my own business. I even did. I also got my GST number, and I used to post about it in my in this channel only. I have those videos private now, but back in 20, I don't know what year was it. Maybe it was 2022 or 2023. I think it was 2023. So I wanted to start my own business brand related to stationery and packaging, uh, things related to that. And I also got a place rented out. I started creating the video of whatever I learned about uh, MSMEs and how to get the GST thing done, how to get it registered, how to get a rent agreement, how to start a business. When I rented out a place, I even got that paint, and I was doing all of that, all of those things. Things were going good, but I was not earning at that time, and it was my dad's money, and he was kind enough to lend me. He's helped me. I mean, that was a moment in my life when I had completed my graduation. I was not. Everyone around me was getting placed. My dad was getting sweets from every friend of his that उनके बेटे की लग गई है, उनकी बेटी की लग गई है, and I was not doing anything. And my dad was like, "Pragya, you have been better than them, and what happened to you?" But since I do not come from a business background, of course, my dad is a corporate, not a corporate, but a person who is in government job. So even for him, having a job is more stabilizing than owning a business. So I agree that it did not make sense, because business is something that is filled with a lot of uncertainty. You never know if it's going to work out. But my parents were kind enough that even though they were half-hearted about this, they still I oh my god, now that I think about it, I'm so happy that they still let me, because he did invest money into that thing, and he knew that it's his money, and he's helping me out with that. And with that, my sister has been someone who has supported me throughout this whole time. There hasn't been one thing that I did in my life in which my sister hasn't said कि प्रज्ञा तू कर, मैं हूँ. It might be I also planned okay, I'm not going to discuss that thing right now, but so yeah, I started thinking of my business, and I have a younger brother who was also supportive. He used to help me, Didi, you should be making video like this, you should be creating video in that MBPS, and I'm not really sure what that thing is, but in that direction. So my family, to be very honest, has been very supportive, but I eventually had to drop that idea, because I could see that my parents are not really, they do not really want me to do that right now. Maybe later in life I can do things on my own with my own money, that would be okay. But the risk taking capability, that time was just maybe not the right time, and that thing did not, to be very honest, work out. And I started learning a language and searching for jobs. So it was happening, but I'm really glad that I tried it. I learned a lot of things then, and I still feel like that idea of me owning a business is something in me. To be very honest, I'm not really disheartened about it that it did not work out. I've never actually disheartened about something not working out. I've always felt like if it did not work out, this wouldn't have happened, which I do realize later. And now this is also a life lesson that I've learned, is that whenever things in my life do not work out, I just realize that okay, Pragya, you have better plans. Your God has better plans for you. So if this did not work out, it's okay. I do cry about it. I do take my time to, because there are things in which I've put a lot of my hard work, my soul into it, but it does not work out. So I do give myself ample of time that Pragya, grieve about it. Take as much as time as you want, but accept this, alright? And don't beat yourselves to it. Maybe there are better plans out there. And trust me when I say this, there's always another train, right? Even if you step out of one train, there's going to be another. It's not the end of the world. The sports player that you're going to see right now has put a lot of sweat into becoming what they are. So what you see is that, just take a real life example. You see someone skate and you're like, these people are skating so well. You don't know how many times they bruised their knee. You don't know how many times they fell. You don't know how many times they skated in broad sunlight, practice day in, day out, even at nights, even in days. They did it so many times just to become perfect. So even if you try it once or twice and it did not become perfect, maybe just give yourself more time than that. Don't just beat yourself out of it. Yeah, मुझसे हो ही नहीं रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है. It takes patience. It takes a lot of time, and you have to be consistent but patient at the same time. Confidence is not built overnight. You do not become perfect on even overnight. There are times that you might feel that you getting rejected is a bad thing. I mean, it's really not. You got rejected because you were not meant to be there. You will get accepted the place where you are meant to be, right? And it can make you feel bad in one moment, but many times it is actually to redirect you to a better place. Okay, so this one is going to be very important, because trust me when I say this, guys, your health is really, really, really important. Please, please, please invest in yourself. Please eat good. I'm not saying that don't eat fast food, or I'm not going to say all of those. I just came back from Chili's and I had a lot of fast food, so I'm not going to give you all of that can. But basic things like staying hydrated, or starting, or even having, to the people who live outside their homes, I know it can be a little difficult, but please try to induce fruits into your eating habits. Dry fruits, I don't do that. I want to do that, but that is something that is really important. If something happens to you, that's a lot of money that you are going to put in that unnecessary pool, right? But if you just rather take care of yourself, you take care of your health, maybe you can avoid that. And let me also tell you one of the key lessons that I've learned a little hard way. But being alone is not a bad thing. It's not at all a bad thing. It's rather a superpower. I have been alone for a good amount of time now. I used to be a person who was always scared of sleeping alone. I would wait for my roommates to come back home, so that when they come back home, I'll go to sleep. I used to be that afraid of being alone, because I'm not really sure why that was, but I remember that when I used to be alone, I would always end up crying, because I used to be with my own thoughts, and those were so crazy negative. So it was a little difficult at first, but now that I have been alone for a good amount of time, I have been literally so happy. And it's a little surprise to me that a person like me is happy staying alone. because I thought that if I'm not around people, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm actually giving myself time. You know, there are so many things that I do in my life today that I'm able to do alone. I do not need someone all the time for those things. And in the beginning, it does make you a little sad that you have to do all of these things alone. But now I'm actually enjoying my space. I can do whatever, I can move on my own, spend time whatever I have the way I like. So being alone is not at all a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, guys. Trust me, girls, when I say this. If you are listening to this, I know when we are in school, when we are in college, we think about this a lot, that we need to be around people. But it's okay. Even if you're alone, please start to put yourself in tough situations, and where you're alone, you handle yourself and you move on from it without anyone's support. It's really important. It's only going to make you stronger. And being alone is not at all a bad thing. If you cannot even love yourself or the person that you are, you wouldn't be able to love somebody else. So the love starts from yourself. So trust me when I say this. Even if you're alone, that's not a bad thing. There were times when I was really uncomfortable sitting in a restaurant alone, but now I just enjoy my own company. I watch Tarak Mehta. I just keep it there. I laugh. I eat my burger. I eat my cheesy fries and all that, and I go out. So it's not a bad thing. It's not at all a bad thing. If you are alone and everyone around is your couple and everything, it's okay. You are not doing anything wrong. Maybe you're destined to be at a better place, and maybe the God is preparing you for that. But even if they are not, and you are just with yourself, you shouldn't be upset about it. Why are you being so upset about being with the best person that there is on the planet, which is you? As you grow older, the life does not get easier. Trust me, it does not. If you are 19-year-old or 20-year-old, if you're a 30-year-old, you definitely know about this. If you're 30 or older, you definitely know about this. But if you're younger to me, I'm telling you, it's if even if your parents keep on telling you or your peers keep on telling you कि यार इसके बाद तो सब सॉर्ट ही हो जाएगा, कॉलेज हो गया तो भाई बढ़िया कॉलेज हो गया फिर तो लाइफ सेट है, बढ़िया जॉब लग जाएगी फिर तो लाइफ सेट है, आज ये बड़ी लग रही है कल इससे भी बड़ी होंगी तो वो छोटी लगेंगी, स्कूल में होते हैं तो वो असाइनमेंट्स, वो नोटबुक कंप्लीशन, वो बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम्स बड़े लगते हैं, ठीक है, आगे जाके कॉलेज के एडमिशन प्रोसीजर्स औखे लगेंगे, फिर कॉलेज के एग्ज़ाम्स औखे लगेंगे, ठीक है, क्या पता आप किसी क्लब में जाना चाहते हो, कॉलेज क्लब में जाना चाहते हो, वहाँ का इंटरव्यू टफ लगेगा, फिर उसके बाद जब जॉब्स के लिए कैंपस प्लेसमेंट्स होंगी तब वो टफ लगेगा, फिर जब नौकरी हो जाएगी तो प्रमोशन के लिए चीज़ें टफ लगेंगी कि ये कैसे करना है वो कैसे करना है. तो ट्रस्ट मी, यू ओनली गेट स्ट्रॉन्गर like whenever life throws things at your way. But if you think कि इसके बाद तो लाइफ सेट है, लाइफ सेट नहीं है, जाने मन बात मानो, थोड़ी सांस लो, अपनी लाइफ एंजॉय करो. मैं इतना ज्ञान इसलिए दे रही हूँ क्योंकि मैं उन सब चीज़ों निकल के यहाँ तक आई हूँ. मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि आगे जो भी मेरी लाइफ में होगा मैं बहुत सॉर्टेड हूँ, मैं नहीं कह रही है. मैं तो इवन 30-year-old होगी, मैं 40-50 ईयर पे होंगी, मैं तो भी ये बात नहीं कह सकती अभी. बिकॉज अभी मुझे लग रहा है कि अगर मैं जॉब कर रही हूँ तो अभी मेरे पास ये हर्डल्स है. लेटर व्हेन आई गेट मैरिड और मे बी आई एम डेटिंग समबडी, तो चीज़ें डिफरेंट होंगी. इफ आई एम स्टार्टिंग फैमिली, थिंग्स वुड बी डिफरेंट. सो it's only going to get harder from there. So when you think that you have time to enjoy your life, please try to make the most out of it. I'm not sure who all are going to watch this, even if people are going to watch this or not, but गाइस घूमा करो, ठीक है, क्योंकि घूमना ना आपको बहुत कुछ सिखाएगा. घूमना आपको लोग अलग अलग कल्चर से मिलाएगा, जगह दिखाएगा. क्योंकि गाइस करने क्या आए हो यहाँ पे? अगर तुम इतना सुंदर प्लैनेट नहीं देखोगे, अगर यू शुड गो ऑन ट्रैक्स, यू शुड गो टू द माउंटेन्स, यू शुड गो टू द बीचेस, यू शुड गो टू द डेजर्ट्स, you should explore, you should go to the northeast, even the eastern part, or in the western part, the southern part, or the northern part. India is so varied. I'm telling you, you have everything in this country. Maybe outside, if your budget allows, please go there. But please, please, please travel, because traveling does teach you a lot, and you cannot just make your job or your studies your life. You need to enjoy your life and make memories, and you should actually enjoy. If you like to go to concerts, please make sure, even if it does help, it shakes your pocket a little bit, let it, because you are earning for yourself. You need to reward yourself time to time, right? So please experience things as much as you can. If there are things that make you happy, for to me, traveling makes me happy. I like, for example, the last time I went was in January, where I experienced snow in Mukteshwar, and I was so happy about that. And now again, it's March, and I'm feeling like I need to go. But and right now my budget is not allowing me to, but I'm looking forward to it. You know that when my budget allows me, I would plan a trip, and you should always have something to look forward to, right? Because that keeps your life moving. Step out of your comfort zone, go out, make mistakes. It's life, it's your life, it's your canvas. Draw whatever picture you want on it. And because every person has their own brush, they have their own colors, they have their own canvas, right? But if you have the opportunity to draw a more colorful canvas, please go ahead and do that. So 24 is that you should check upon your parents regularly. There are times when your parents might feel that might feel alone, because जब आप घर पे होते हो तो कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है, something happening might be, but after a certain age even your parents might need you. So it's really important to keep regular checks. For example, person like me, मेरा दिन ख़त्म नहीं होता जब तक मैं मम्मी से 2 बारी बात करूँ. एक वीडियो कॉल सुबह, एक वीडियो कॉल रात में. So that is fix that happens with my mom, and even when I'm creating this video, I'm getting a video call from her, because that is something, is such a part of my routine now that I cannot go without talking to her. And it's not just for me, it's also for her, because even she has, she gets to know about my life, I get to know about her. So after a certain age now, you kind of become a friend of your parent, right? So it's really important you check upon them. And with that, please, please, please encourage your parents to go on regular walks, join yoga classes, because it's really important for them to be remotely active. They should, take care of your health a lot, because abhi ke time pe there are times that our mothers stay at home, they do the household chores, that is true, but it's really important कि आप थोड़ा movement करते रहो, which I feel like today's home ladies do not really take care of, and they start having a lot of back pain and knee pain. So please take care of your parents in a way that you make them engaged in a yoga class or something of that, or inculcate good habits. Our parents already have great habits, they have been the people who have been teaching us, but there are times when we need to teach them, right? So just about the yoga and everything, I think you should check upon your parents and call them, even if you're busy the whole day, you should make out time for you, because maybe they are looking forward to your call, and they don't call because they think that you might be busy, right? So you make sure that you call them at least once. I'm going to wrap up the 24 things that I've learned at 24 with: you do not need to have everything figured out at 24. I was a kid in school in my 8th standard. I used to think that 24-25-year-old person जिसका स्कूल भी हो गया, कॉलेज भी हो गया, जॉब चल रही है, वो तो एक गाड़ी ओन करता होगा, घर ओन करता होगा. Now that I'm there, I don't own either yet, and I don't think I'll be owning it at 24 either. Life is going to be a huge roller coaster, kids. Make sure you enjoy the ride. Goodbye.